We're out here at the Kearney City Cemetery. They're firing off this old cannon, and this cannon was dug out of Fort Kearny.
Yep, that is correct.
And who are you and who are you with?
My name is Terry Hendrickson. I've been part of the Fort Kearny crew for over 28 years.
And
I portray a lieutenant colonel for C Battery, 3rd U.S. Artillery. We've been firing the cannons out of Fort Kearny for almost 30 years now. This gun, I remember when they dug it out, it was spiked. They had to unspike it. I was around when this gun got restored the very first time. Then it was brought out here, and of course with the weather and things, it deteriorates. And we got a young man that was working on an Eagle Scout project, and he wanted to take part in restoring it, so he took the part of getting the wheels put on it, and he's been doing a lot of upkeep on it. So a lot of thanks goes to him.
is that who's firing it today?
That's who's firing it.
And what's his name?
Yes.
Young man?
What's your name?
Michael Ernst.
Michael. And this was your Eagle Scout project?
Yes, sir.
What did you do to it?
I put 2 brand new wheels, and I sandblasted all the wood and then repainted it, filled it in, made it look nice.
And how long did that take you?
About a year.
About a year? What's it like firing it?
Awesome. I love it.
Tell us about this gun in particular. What is it called? What size gun, and what does it fire?
This gun here is a 24-pound siege gun. Originally it held 2 pounds of black powder and shot a 24-pound projectile. This particular gun was not found out here on the prairie that much or very often. Just the reason being is the barrels weigh about 1,500 pounds apiece. And back in the 1800s, to cross rivers such as the Platte River, there was no bridges. So to transport a 1,500 pound barrel across a river with no bridges, it was quite a feat and a task to get that accomplished. And so therefore they were not popular out here. The story behind this gun, go ahead Paul, you can. What had happened, there was 20 of these guns issued to Salt Lake City for the Mormon uprising. So they started trucking 20 of these guns, this being one of them, to Salt Lake City. Somewhere in between here and Salt Lake City, the Mormon uprising had ceased. It was done, it was over with. So therefore they didn't need the guns to go all the way to Salt Lake City. Therefore those 20 guns got dispersed. 10 of them wound up out at Fort Kearny. The other 10 got dispersed between 2 other forts. So there was 10 of these guns sitting out on Fort Kearny parade grounds at one particular point in time. When they found this barrel and they found the barrel that is stationed or that's sitting out at Fort Kearny, both barrels were spiked. And what I mean by spiked, there was a wooden ball that was shoved all the way to the back of the barrel. It was their way to make a gun inoperable. The reason they were spiked was there was a commander out at Fort Kearny that was actually, he held his allegiance to the Confederate States. However, he was in charge of Fort Kearny. At a certain point in time, he decided, I need to support the southern states. I cannot be up here supporting the North, so he decided to abandon his post, abandon his position. So on his way out, he waited until it was way late at night, went out, and he spiked 9 out of the 10 cannons, which meant this is one of them that he spiked. It's kind of some interesting facts, I guess, but when they did find it, it was spiked, and they had to unspike it.
What kind of projectiles would they have shot out of it?
24-pound projectile. They had the solid shot. They had what they called a canister shot, which is basically like a shotgun shell. They had what they called a grape shot, which consisted of 9 balls and several pieces of wood. You'd have 3 balls, a piece of wood, 3 balls, a piece of wood, 3 balls, piece of wood, and it was held together with a real long bolt. when the powder would go off, the wood would splinter. The 3 balls were offset from each other, so when it went off, it would splinter the wood. So when it fired, you'd have 9 balls flying out, plus a steel rod about yay long, and all the slivers and leftovers of the wood. That was a great shot. They also had exploding balls, which were just a round ball that was hollow, and the inside that ball was filled with black powder and 50 caliber rifle balls or musket balls. And then on that they had a lead fuse, and they called that a Mormon fuse. There's a special tool for it, and it had notches on there, and it was timed by seconds. So between 1 and 10, or however high the numbers went, up to 15 I think, or 20, you could notch that out, and each notch was for seconds. So say if you turned it over to 7, that meant 7 seconds after that ball left the barrel, it would explode. So they had that. They also had balls or shell. It was more of a shell type deal. The long tube was filled with black powder and shrapnel inside, and it had a slide weight in there. They would shoot that shell out, and as soon as it hit the ground, that weight would slide down that shaft, hit the primer, and then explode. There was a large array of different ammunitions that they shot.
So what are you firing today?
Right now, all we are firing is black powder with a grass pack at the end.
How much black powder?
Like I said, originally they held 2 pounds of black powder. With this being an original barrel, we're firing 1 pound. We cut the poundage in half. It's an original barrel. I don't want to be the one to crack it, and because once the barrel's cracked, it's nothing more than a lawn ornament. And to find original barrels still firing today, very, 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 very rare.
Well, thank you for bringing this one back to life.
They're few and far between. So this is definitely an honor to come out here, because the last one to really fire it 20 years ago was myself. So it brings back some good memories. When Kearney had its 25th anniversary, we went here and we fired it. This is Fort Kearny's 150th. We fired it for the 125th of Fort Kearny. So it's been a long time that gun has sat silent, and it's quite a privilege to come out and make it sing again, so to say.